Hello, what about building apps and web pages with no code? And can Lovable do that? Let's continue with my series of learning AI and Cut, where we together look across various AI tools that help us design. It's not like a tutorial, it's just rather us exploring this whole thing together. My name is Yulia or Julia Kucherenko. I work as lead product designer, and most of the time I work with B2B enterprises. So today we're gonna build something that is very exciting. This idea came to me when I visited last weekend a design meetup here in Warsaw, and there was one person and they had the birthday. It was so cool to see somebody pull up the birthday cake to the screen and kind of say, hey, like blow the candles and like happy birthday. And I thought, can we make an app for that? It will be like a fun thing to do. And I wanted to try Lovable today because people say that before you go to Cursor, it's better to play around with Lovable. People say it's a little bit more friendlier, so this is exactly what we're gonna do today. I decided to do things a little bit differently this time because what I found out is that it's actually similar to Figma Make, so I wanted to make this video a little bit more entertaining. I already did some version of this app, and I will show you my process, what things went wrong and what things went right. Then we'll try to add a couple of edits together to see how the system reacts. And let me tell you, when you create your Lovable account, you get 5 credits. Probably could have make this app in these 5 credits, but then I wanted to fix up a couple of things, so I had to get a pro account, like a subscription, to be able to continue with my explorations and with my prompting. So it already took me almost 30 credits to build this. Idea was that a first person selects like a cake that they want to see on the screen. Let's go with the pink paradise. Then I wanted the system somehow to recognize that a person blows out the candle. You will have to grant the microphone access, and the system will try to recognize if you blowed out the candles by voice, by sound. Let's go over to the main screen. You can see it blow out. Let me show you this actually without talking. The only problem is that it will be sensitive to my microphone currently on my MacBook, so I will have to kind of go over to the system to make it hear that I'm blowing out the candles. Yep, and it changes the text like, may all your dreams come true. This is like the whole app. Let's go over to how I was making it. What was the process of actually getting it to this specific level? This is how it's all started. I created a prompt, create a web page where I can select birthday cakes with candles and give laptop, I was thinking, camera permissions. Then when user selects and cake and give the permission, the selected cake appears full screen. Then the user builds the candles, candles are no longer burning, and a lot of confetti effect appears. I would say most of the user journey was written in this first prompt. I was thinking about the camera permissions, that maybe a camera will try to recognize a person's face and if they're blowing out the candle. However, I was thinking about this, like it's very advanced, it's almost like a facial recognition. The system actually suggested to have a microphone access, and this is where I think it was very powerful. It worked with my design idea and it leveraged this knowledge to still find a solution, even though my initial thought obviously was very technically challenging. What I like about this is that let me verify it's working, and it took the screenshot, and this is how it got that it was working. That was all the first iterations. It provides like the same instruction: select a cake, click grant access for microphone, blow the candles, and then celebrate. Exactly what we saw here. I'm selecting the cake, I'm creating a microphone access, and then we go to the screen to actually like blow out the candles. I really love my dog, and he usually goes crazy, specifically when I record videos or podcast. So just enjoy this on the background. He's adorable. He's adorable. Okay, let's continue. Let's continue with Lovable. As I was saying, I think if I really wanted like to close my eyes on a couple of things, I would be able to do it even within the 5 free credits because the version that it created was already good. This was like the first version. It wasn't bad. It had like a lot of the things. It had cards, etc. One thing that I hated though And this is where my next prompts were focusing mostly. Like that was thing that was floating, and then when I select it was blinking, like overall, it was all too much in my opinion. I said let's have shadow when the thing is selected not blinking. Let's have cakes not like floating. So I started working like on these micro things. I started working with copy, and then another thing. Whenever you work with any AI thing that helps you to create these apps, etc., it will sometimes make things weird. Let me show you what was the problem. The problem was that is that this inner part of candles, I asked candles to be fixed. It didn't work. I asked it again. It didn't work. I think I gave up a little bit. Hey, you actually like when you tried to fix the candles, you removed the title. And then I was like, okay, I need a break. I was like, fix another thing. Another thing that I was doing. And you will see me doing this a couple of times across the whole way. I was asking it to like check the code one more time just to make sure you see no errors or any issues. Just to make sure that when I'm giving it the request, it always tries to do my request first of all. But am I giving it enough time to do some cleanup just to make sure that AI also has the opportunity to clean up of all the things that I've been constantly changing? This is where I probably already bought the premium because I published it. I still was like talking about micro things. I don't remember if I don't think it still fixed the candles. Oh my god, maybe I'm missing out. Maybe I just got it confused with my work project that I was working in Figma Make. Maybe it did fix the candles. Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. It was actually at work today. I was working with Figma Make to ideate some like concept prototype, and it just wouldn't do one thing for me. And I think I had to ask like 5 times in a row and it fixed it. And here's a lesson for you. Even if you wrote something to AI and it didn't get it from the first time, really try again. Sometimes you can even copy the same thing. In this case today with Lovable, it was pretty okay with candles. However, you saw it still like took around 3 or 4 iterations for it to be fixed. After that, what I started doing, I think I went to work and viewed as for like from the tablet view or mobile view. I started like fixing some things, and I was constantly asking it after like a good chunk of prompts, review the code and fix clean any issues errors. There were a couple of things that I noticed when I was looking it from the mobile. I think I did it from my mobile. Is that when I selected the cake, I granted access and blow the candles. This thing goes right over the title. Let's do some things. And what we can do, first of all, we can do some visual edits, same as with Figma Make. However, sometimes like it says like starting live preview and I kind of click. I think it happened to me the last time. Like you really have to wait, and only now it like allows me to do that. Oh, but it removed the page that I wanted. Okay, now I think we can do the visual edits. And I will basically select this title and I will ask the Lovable to make the typography smaller size. It did just that. Now I think it just looks nicer, but I want to somehow address this whole thing. I'm curious right now if I can do it via visual edits. Unfortunately, it didn't allow me to select it with visual edits, so I will proceed right now to work on that specific part by just writing out the prompt. What I wrote, the cake and candles parts are obstructing the title on the real mobile screen. It has much smaller height than the current view. Let's see how the system adapts to this. While thinking I can drink a little bit of water, and you drink please too. Don't forget about this. What it did, it made this thing smaller. I'm curious right now if it's smaller on all the screen sizes. No, actually only for mobile. Now you should be able to see what happens, how it adapts. So there is still potential, as you can see, for it to go all wrong. This is how I would do it if it was some sort of website builder. I would have controls to set the minimum height. And this is what I would do here, to be honest. Otherwise, it's wipe coding and wipe designing. I just wish I would have a little bit more control over that. There's another thing that I just noticed. Maybe visual edits will finally work. I want to fix this whatever is happening here, like the button is not aligned to the listening and it's abstracting the title. And I think it only happens. No, actually, this is happening in all screen sizes, and the visual edit stopped working. It looks like I will have to write prompts myself. So much work, am I right? So it fixed the text, I think, and this is it for this current version. I just wish I would have slightly more controls as designer. I get it that it's not specifically like a website builder, it's a code maker. Maybe I'm just used to it. I wish that I would be able to control typography sizes, have some sort of way to unify it. Maybe I just get used to working in systems like that. I don't know. Oh, I know. Hi, it's the editor here. So, yesterday evening, I decided that I still wanted to bring in design into this whole thing. So, right now, I will take a short overview on what I was able to still, at the end of the day, achieve was lovable. And I think I eventually get better with it. So, it is different from Figma Make in terms of some of the things you will see it in a minute, but I still quite enjoyed it. So, let's take a look at it. Here it is. I changed a little bit of typography. I created an icon myself. I did some other artsy things. I really like how it looks. So, it was changed both on that screen and on the next one. Let's start the celebration. So now, as you can see, I will show you in a minute. The candles look different. I liked the way I was able to achieve a much nicer design, in my opinion. And Lovable was actually a very supportive creative partner in that. For example, I really was stuck in how to place candles. All the cake pictures, they already have these candles, and I just wasn't sure how will I place candles around. I still want to have this cool effect. I brainstormed with Lovable and I asked it, what are your ideas? Where can I put this candle so it wouldn't look that awkward? Give me the idea. Let's create a couple of clusters at the bottom corners. I liked it so much that I said, let's do it also at top of the corners. And this is how I was able to achieve this variant, which I really like more. Let's take a look at some changes that I eventually did yesterday evening and night. I just couldn't stop. Obviously, I was working with Icon. I created it myself and uploaded SVG and it worked fine. It was able to work with it good. I also created SVG for those like step numbers, circles. As you can see here, I wanted to create this cake selection cards more as like Polaroids. I really like how it turned out. But I mean, I still wanted to do a couple of more iterations on that, but the system somehow just started to be so laggy. I decided just to let it go, to be honest. One other thing left that I would like to fix is that when the card is selected and is being tilted on mobile, it goes right to the edges. I tried to ask it to fix a couple of things, but when it tried to fix things, the cards changed their view completely. So I was like, that's good enough, right? But that's a drawback. I just wanted to highlight. I also work here with animated calendars, right? When you go to the next screen, it basically changed the whole thing here. And now you can try this app out for yourself. You can go over the link in the description box, or you can also go to my website, yuliakucherenko.com, and here you also will be able to find the link to the birthday cake app. I think it's just nice that you will be able to see the video of me creating it and working with Lovable and see what we can achieve. And then obviously go and try yourself the app where you can blow out the candles on a cake. I really like how it turned out. So now let's move on to our next challenge with Lovable. Other thing that I tried to do, and we will do it right now together, I went to my projects and I wanted to try to do all this in Stardew Valley style. I took it and decided to remix. By remixing a project, you will create a copy that you own. And also I can include project history. Let's do just that. I like what happens when you remix the project. It auto sends a message from me. I have successfully remixed this project. What would be a good next step? I really like it because it prompts the system to answer with a couple of ideas. The system doesn't leave me with just an empty state. What I want to do is to change the visuals and UI and colors and all things to the Stardew Valley style. I will only spoil this to you that I already tried one iteration and it was something that you would expect from Figma Make. It's just that these systems, they are not that proficient with visuals. And once the AI created the style of any app or project that you work on, and you try to ask it to change this style, it almost always kind of fails. It creates this sort of Frankenstein, but not something that it would consider good. And this is what it did. I mean, this is actually slightly better than I previously expected. I think it's because I slightly changed my prompt. I said change everything. There is still a couple of things that are weird, like these stars. This obviously it tries to capture the Stardew Valley style, but it just cannot. I can see that my really not favorite title case is back. I think it picked a pretty cool font, to be honest. Let's select the cake and it makes it jump. Okay. Grant access to the microphone. Now we can blow the candles. This is what I meant. It feels like a Frankenstein between what I wanted it to do and between something that previously existed. There is still probably some way to make it all better, because right now I went to see some examples. This event platform, the design looks really good as you can see it. And I'm curious if they maybe did it actually in Figma and then kind of fed it to the system maybe via the screenshots, because if you create anything here, I can attach files, I can take a screenshot or whatever, but there is no way for me to connect a Figma, for example, like you can do with Figma Make, which makes sense. I think this is what we actually will try right now to do. Why not? And we will do something very forbidden. We will ask it right now to recreate the Apple website. I hope it's not illegal. I will just attach the screenshot and basically say, create that. One thing that I really like about the system is that when I kick off the Lovable project and we have some empty state, it's creating that. I can read through a couple of things. It's just nice. What it's doing in here, it says, I will create an Apple-inspired iPhone product page with a clean minimalist design. Maybe it's because it's the Apple, right? This is why I won't create this. Actually, one thing I just realized, probably, yes. It's me right now who is doing this for fun, but some people may actually use this to create some misleading websites. I haven't thought about this. And it even shows the tasks it's working on. I really like this. Done. I've created an Apple style iPhone product page with clean navigation and yada yada. Let's just look into the design. It is something very slow here, but I think it's fine. Otherwise, that what makes me pretty scared about the technologies, like how many bad actors may use them to just try and create fake pages. But let's look into this just from the design perspective. Obviously, the design looks much better, so feeding it the actual screenshots of design probably is the best. That looks nice. It picked very pictures, so that's unfortunate. I will ask it change the iPhone 16 pic to this, and we will select some picture. I'm adding the screenshot of my podcast, and I'm curious if it will actually take that specific picture. It's a heavy picture to recreate, it has some text and things. It actually says this, I will copy that image and use it for iPhone 16. This is how you probably do it, similar to Figma Make. You probably have to point to things and fix everything separately. It is like that picture. Okay, this is how these designers did all these examples within the library. They created probably designs somewhere else. In Figma, for example, they uploaded the screenshot. They tried to recreate it. That was good, I would say. What are your thoughts? It's still slightly a different beast comparing to Figma Make, but I think that working more and more with Lovable, I will feel this difference. Figma Make is very direct. I know that I can select any point within the design and say, hey, this button should look like this, and then link to the frame with just the button. And this is how I fix my Figma designs if I want to make them as close as possible to the design system look for my clients. And here with Lovable, I was saying that I'm missing out on the some controls. Looks like I would have to do that in Figma and then import the screenshots for Lovable to recreate those. But overall, this was fun. I built a whole web app that right now works, that can get an access to your microphone, so it recognizes if you blow out the candles and if it provides the effect to do so. Thank you so much for joining today. I will continue with this AI series. We really need to make our way out to the cursor, and I have a couple of great ideas. Probably similar to Figma Make, if I will have some creative ways of how we may test out the Lovable, I will absolutely do. My previous Figma Make videos, the first one was formal and the second one was more informal. Maybe Lovable will have the same fate, but otherwise, thank you for tuning in and I will see you next time.